class, the receiving school students and teachers.
Good morning, Mrs. Watangas.
How are you all this morning?
We are very well, thank you. And how are you this morning?
I'm very well, just like you all. Thank you. You may be seated. Now, previously, in a previous lesson, we carried out a survey. Now, I'd like Shane, if you can tell us what was the purpose of a survey. What was the purpose of a survey in the previous lesson?
Purpose of our survey was to find out how much nutrition do our students in our school take.
Very good, thank you. So that was a purpose of a survey. Now, there are a couple of steps or things that we have to consider, and especially this is information to the receiving school teachers, but even students, if you had a look at it. Firstly, we find out the purpose of a survey. What is the next thing that we have to consider when we are carrying out a survey? Let's have Shane again.
Decide on the type of information to collect.
Very good. Type of information to collect. Good. Anybody else who can give us the next thing? The next thing that we have to consider, or our teachers have to consider when carrying out a survey. Okay, we have Tanabik.
Identify the key questions to collect the data.
Very good, thank you. Anyone with the next? You seem to be having boys. How about the girls? Okay, we have Gail.
Identify how the information will be collected.
Okay, good, thank you. Identify all the information that you have collected. We have the last one, probably the last one. Someone to give us that. Anyone who can give us the last thing to consider, not the last in the survey, but actually in carrying out the survey. After the survey is done, there are other things that we have to consider, but the last in carrying out the survey. Yes, Shane again.
Collect the actual information.
Good, collect the actual information. And that is what we did in the previous lesson, the actual survey done. So those are the things that we have to consider, especially to us teachers, when we are planning to carry out survey. Now, our lesson today is on a follow-up on the survey that was done in the previous lesson. And in doing the follow-up, there are two basic things that we are actually going to do when we are doing the follow-up lesson on the survey. And if I can have Adrian to read for us the first one. Adrian?
Analyze and present the information on a graph.
Okay, analyzing and presenting the information on a graph. That is what we will be doing. If I can have Quarry read for us the second one. Okay, good. So we have carried out a survey, and we've done our findings of the types of food that are eaten by other students in the school. And so in this lesson, we will be actually analyzing our findings, okay, putting together all our findings and presenting those findings on the graph. And then we, together as a group, discuss and come up with ways that we can help our friends, those we actually interviewed in the survey, how we can help them to eat nutritious diets. Now we will once again look at how to do a survey that we only had one group in the class who were able to tell us all the areas that we have to consider while on how to carry out a survey. So we already had Shane with his friends. They've told us what was actually done in the survey, the actual survey that was carried out. Now, again, in this lesson, whatever we had analyzing and presenting and also making decisions of our findings on the survey done. Now, lesson activity. We are going straight onto the lesson activity students and the teachers in the receiving schools, as this is actually a follow-up on the survey, and we have so much to do. So we are quickly getting into our lesson activity. Now we have about 4 lesson activities. The first one we have, if I can have Carol to read for us.
In groups, discuss about all your individual tally sheets and complete them into one tally sheet.
Compile them onto a tally sheet. Okay. Now, in a previous lesson, you were given tally sheets like this. So that is what it means by individual tally sheets. So every one of you in the class, you should have an individual survey tally sheet. Now, you were told in a previous lesson that once you interview a student on the types of food that student eats, then where it says food eaten, you write down what the type of food that this student eats for all the different meals in a day. And those different meals, they include the snacks. Now, once you have done your tally, these are the different nutrients. So you add all those up and you come up with a total amount of the different nutrients consumed by the students you interviewed. So this is what it's talking about, the individual tally sheets, these ones here. And you are going to compile that onto one tally sheet. And that one tally sheet is going to be this one here. Okay, so the information you gathered on that individual tally sheet will be transferred to the follow-up tally sheet. Now we have the first column that says group members. These are the number of students that make up the group. And here we have the nutrients consumed in whatever food that has been eaten by the students that the students have interviewed. So we have the first student in the group will have to give the amount of fats that has been consumed by the student he or she interviewed. Likewise, all the rest of the nutrients. Then it goes on like that until every student in the group, okay, gives in the number of the amount of nutrients consumed by all the students that you have interviewed. So that is what we will be doing. So I'd like the group, the runners, to come up and get your group follow-up tally sheets. You only need your pencil or whatever. Otherwise, just get one marker. Harold, you have to get one marker. Now, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do that activity quickly before we go to the next. Are you in the same room? That shouldn't take you long. You already have your individual tally sheets there.
It will take up the space. So we just
You should be already entering it now onto that. That's the student you interviewed. You interviewed 2 of them. Okay.
I just edited it.
Okay. Just hold that one quickly and the next one fills this. Okay, good. Pass it quickly. So you write yours down. You should be finishing that group tally sheet. What's that? What you have there, you enter it there on that group follow-up tally sheet. You have to move your hands quickly. Fill yours quickly and pass it to the next. Let's see. Okay. Carbohydrate fats you have 2 carbohydrates. Do that quickly. So how many students did you interview? 1. And your student ate so much. Move your hands quickly. Write it in a pen or marker so it shows out clearly. No, there is no need for drafting. I want your actual work done. I told you all have 5 minutes. Now all your individual tally sheets, your individual work should be now on the group follow-up tally sheet. Now that is the actual tally sheet. I'd like us to have a look at the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th activities. Now, with the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th activities, within your groups, have 2 to work on one of the activities, and that should make it easier for us to get our activities done on time. So here we have 2, 3, and 4. If there are 6 of you, then you can have 2 students each to work on one of those activities. If there are 7 of you, then 3 can work on one, and the other 4, 2 to each of those other 2 activities. Now I'd like Violet, if you can read for us the 2nd activity.
Present your information in the form of graphs.
Now it says present your information in the form of graphs. Your graph will look like this. That is the graph that you are going to use to present your information. Now, here we have those figures are figures for the amounts of nutrients consumed by the students you interviewed. And underneath we have nutrients consumed. Now, what you are going to do, you will use the figures that you have on the group follow-up tally sheet, and you will shade following these numbers we have. Now, before we go to that, we have here, it says ratio is 1:2. ratio is 1:2. If I can have someone to tell us what we mean by ratio is 1:2. Ratio is 1:2. Anyone? Violet?
The amount of nutrients that we consume, one is equivalent to 2 nutrients.
Okay, so example, we have fats. Now if there are 2 amounts of fats consumed, then those 2 we can shade 2 as far as 1, and that 1 will show that 1 is equals to the amount of 2 consumed fats consumed by the student that you have interviewed. Now, for example, if we have an amount of fats consumed is 10, fats consumed, amount of fats consumed is 10, then in our graph or on our graph, how far do we shade in the column that says fats? Carol?
5.
5, okay, good. 5 because its ratio is 1:2. So 5 is equivalent to 10. 10, the amount of fats consumed by students you interviewed. Okay, and that is what you are going to do using your group follow-up tally sheet. Now, that's the third one. Helen, if you can read it for us quickly, please. Third activity.
Write a brief report about your graph.
Write a brief report about your graph. Once you complete your graph should tell you something about the types of food and the types of nutrients consumed by the students that you have interviewed. So you are to write a brief report. Your report could be 1 paragraph report. 1 paragraph could be about 4 to 5 lines of whatever you have to write about your graph. The fourth one, Rachel, please read it quickly for us.
Explain how you can help the other students know how to eat nutritious diets.
Okay, you will also explain how you are going to help these other students to know how to eat nutritious diets. How are you going to help the students to know how to eat nutritious diets? Now, that could be, again, a paragraph. And like I've said, you are going to share that activity among the 6 or 7 of you so you get it done quickly. 2 on the graphing, 2 on the report, and probably 3 or 2 on the explanation of how you are going to help the other students to know how to eat nutritious diets. Now, if I can have the runners once again to get your graph sheets. These papers, you're going to use that to do your third and fourth activity. Get 1 of that and 2 of this. 2 of this for third and fourth activity. Who did not get this? And 2 of that. I hope we have enough. Okay, thank you. That's enough. Organize yourselves, please. And see how you can get those activities done within your group. once you work that one out, you get your marker and you start shading it in. Okay, shading it in, you cannot coloring it. It takes time, but you just, you know, put the strokes like this down to make it quickly. So let's see your amount of fats consumed. Where is your group follow here? Okay, see here you have 7. Okay, so okay, draw the line and then you just shade it in quickly. Okay, you come to 20. Okay, so don't worry, you come right up here and you stop there, but you can, so because it's 30, that's more than what we have on the chart, sorry, on the sheet, so you can come right up here, okay? You come right up here. Yeah, just come as far as this one. So that's your carbohydrates, okay? You come all the way here. And maybe to help yourself carve out, if you can write those numbers underneath, where it says fats, carbohydrates, like that. You could do that too. Have the numbers there so it's easy for you. Who is working on the graphing? 2 of you. Who? Brandon, you're on the what? Okay, you should start now. That's their work. Leave it to them while they're working on that. You do yours. If it's more than 20, because this one comes up to 20, you just come up there and stop there. But make sure you have your number written there so we'll know. Okay. That's okay. So let the 2 of them work on that. That's theirs. 2 of you are on. Activity 4. Okay, so 2 of you start talking about it now and you write it. And you are on activity 3. Okay, just looking at this, while they are making the graph, you cannot wait until the graph is completed. This actually tells you, you see, this is the figure that they are going to shade it there, but with the help of your follow-up tally sheet, 2 of you should be able to tell something about that graph. You have all those different nutrients consumed. See, that's fats 10, carbohydrates 27, protein 17, vitamins and minerals 18, water 21. Now, what can you tell about that? Discuss about it and you write it down. 2 of you start working on that. Three of you are on the graphing. Huh? Okay. Where is your, now, where you have too much like that, you come as far as that, but write your number underneath so we'll know. Okay. Start now. You haven't started yet. It's already almost 5 minutes up, and some of us haven't started yet. You are third or fourth activity. Oh, you have your answer. Oh, good. Thank you. Get it done. 2 of you on the third one. Okay, and then have it written there. Thank you. Yeah, that way, and then just shade it in. Good. Who is on the graph? Who is working on the graph? Graph should be already done. See, those ones almost finished. Where is your follow-up tally sheet? Now, in this case where you have more than what we have on the graph, there, you just complete the graph and have your number written here, so we know the amount of carbohydrates consumed, okay? So here is 57, so you have 57 written here, but you complete the shading the whole graph. Now, 2 people are supposed to be on that. You two, what are you on? So, Tanabik and Daira on that. Okay, you start doing your shading now. Where is your follow-up? Yeah, okay. Okay, it's this one too. Water and carbohydrates. You complete the whole what, but indicate your numbers underneath. Okay, good, but show your number underneath if there's more. Oh, let's see, that's your group follow-up. No, that's individual. Okay, that's okay. So here, this is 20, yeah. But otherwise, you just shade all of it up and then write your number underneath, huh? Because it's more than what we have on the tally. Now, you're supposed to have, there are 6 of you, so 2 should be on the graph. You are on the third activity, yeah. And 2 of you, okay? Yeah, instead of thank you, Hayano, instead of waiting for them to complete that, that should tell you what to do, what to write about. Just look at the amount consumed, amount of nutrients consumed. Where you have that, just complete the whole what? Okay, column, and then have your number written underneath. So we know that carbohydrate consumed was 26. So that is how far you could go. Now, who is on the the third activity? You already finished. And the 3 boys are on the 4th one. Okay. Let's see you. The students we interviewed, the students we interviewed, INTRVIW, interviewed, yeah. Interviewed, the students we interviewed, most of them. Move your hands quickly. We should be all finishing now. So while they are getting this one on, that gives us time, please, I'd like you to complete your work quickly. We should be all finishing. Group 1, are you ready for your presentation? Group 1? Any group that is ready, we can have you. So once the others finish, they can come in. When you come out to present, you will have only 3 from each group. Sorry, you will have 3 from each group. One presents the graph, the other presents the report, brief report, and the other will present your explanation on how you will help the other students. Now, if I can have Hayano, if you can give us our key phrase for this lesson. Our key phrase for this lesson. Very good. Food, others eat. Students, the class, and teachers for your participation, and good morning to every one of you.
Receiving school teachers is your reference for the next lesson. Strand, substrand, outcome, topic, materials, and reference.